Hello, everyone. It is amazing to see everybody. For those of you who don't know me, my name is Jason Miller. I'm the Chief Evangelist and Principal Consultant here at Creatio. It's so nice to see so many new faces and meet some of the folks that I've only been able to meet virtually over the last couple of years in person. I got to meet some of the folks that are our technology partners over the last couple of years. Got to meet them firsthand this last couple of days. That was great. I've also got to meet some of our new partners and obviously some of our customers and prospective customers. Thank you for joining us. Today, we're going to talk a little bit about how no-code and generative AI make this really unique, powerful combination when it comes to technology. Now, when we think about this power is driven by two things. One, our need to have better engagement, better interactions with our customers. And when we think about that, that means we need information, we need tools, and we need to empower the people that are closest to the business problems. So for those of you who are kind of new, and I saw a lot of new hands here today, let's talk a little bit about where Creatio's at from a platform standpoint. I love this graphic because it talks about a couple of different things. One is it talks about the difference between low code and no code. Two is it talks about the difference between having a platform and pre-built applications. Now, what makes Creatio very unique is this combination of all of these things. And there's a lot of great tools that are out there, but Creatio is the only tool to both enable SaaS application out-of-the-box customization, but we also have the no-code tools that empower citizen development. Here at Creatio, we call those no-code developers. As a matter of fact, there's a recent Forrester wave that talks about how Creatio is not only the only leader in this space, but how we are so unique compared to some of the other tools that are out there. And we're going to talk about some of these unique things here in just a couple of minutes. But what's so powerful here is where you look at where Creatio's at. The number one thing that people complain about with no-code application development is how do we manage and govern citizen developers? How do we track and enforce policy when we've taken it out of the hands of professional developers? This is where Creatio shines, and we'll talk about governance here in just a little bit. But the tools that Creatio brings to bear kind of fall in three categories. Composable no-code architecture, the ability to take pre-built components, blocks or widgets, and drag them into a user experience that drives employee experience, which then transitions into customer experience. Using intelligent tools like Copilot, and we'll talk about Copilot more here in a few minutes, but using these tools to help drive more efficient and effective processes in everything that we do within the platform. And then the third one, obviously, is CRM excellence. Many of you know Creatio is a leader in the CRM space. Darren and Alex talked a little bit about it earlier when it comes to CRM, the sales, service, and marketing components that drive business, both operationally and future business for your customers. Let's start with the world of composable no-code applications. Now, when we think about composable no-code applications, these kind of fall into these different categories. One, architecture, the ability to have independent pieces working by themselves as standalone, or in concert with other pieces on the platform to create robust enterprise-grade application pieces. Talked briefly about governance a few minutes ago. Being able to manage, track issues from beginning to end using automation tools. Building powerful workflow automation. For those of you who have known Creatio for a long time, this is where our foundation started. Business process management. Then working that into everyday applications like customer sales, customer self-service. And then using AI to assist in building applications. If you get a chance to stop by the Creatio booth, we've got copies of the no-code playbook out there. The no-code playbook, it's a topic of a discussion a little bit later this afternoon, but the idea behind it is we have built these new tools to help empower our citizen developers in new ways. We need to think about new ways of governing and managing that process. That's what the no-code playbook is. Now, over the next 25 minutes or so, we're going to take, and I'm going to do some demonstrations of our platform for you. The first one I want to talk about is how to build applications using no-code tools. Matter of fact, this little video that I'm going to show you here, this is all about managing composable applications. This is the application hub. This is where we can manage the pages, the navigation sections, the data models, and the business processes. All of these in one place to where you can then take items out of the library, bring them into your user experience to help better manage the day-to-day processes that you're looking at. Matter of fact, speaking of processes, we've even got a way to manage these. This is the progress bar, also our dynamic case manager, to be able to put this and embed this somewhere. This is an example of a contacts page, and we're building a customer onboarding process here. Now, this customer onboarding process is going to have a few different stages, and we're going to bring maybe an approval process and capture some other no-code elements and bring them into the page, including next best offer, so that as we're bringing a customer on board, we can offer them products. Maybe building in some action buttons, like adding products, configuring them, not coding them. These are the elements that no-code tools help bring. From there, we're going to bring in a business process. This is a verification and approval process, making sure that we understand who we're working with as this new customer comes on board. Being able to execute all of these, not just map out processes, execute processes. These can be user processes, or they can be fully automated processes. We also can reach into the Creatio marketplace, and we can grab things that make our lives better. The productivity tools we use the other day, like DocuSign, so that as we're building that contract process, as we're getting ready to offer the customer maybe an order or some products, we have the ability to send it to them and get the approval all through a completed, configured business process. Now, once this is all said and done, this would be something like you would see when it executes. Being able to go into the sales module, build out an offer, add it to the order, quickly send it for review and approval, and ultimately send it out for signature. All of these tools that you've seen here, not a single line of code was written to build this out. Now, this is a great example of how to take templates that are already pre-built within Creatio and then modify them using the no-code tools. Now, let's talk a little bit more about how we can use generative AI. So we can build applications from scratch as well. This is an example of a travel request where you can use prompting to build prototypes of applications. Back to the no-code playbook. If you read that, it talks about how to rapidly build out prototypes and then use the no-code tools to build out your MVP. This reduces the time that it takes to build new applications. It helps to democratize who can build applications. We want to empower both professional developers as well as citizen developers to be able to work in a single platform to build user experiences, build your data models, capture the pieces of information that you need to be able to run your day-to-day business. Now, I mentioned governance, and this is the one thing that really makes Creatio stand apart from many of those other platforms that we saw on the first screen. Being able to track, manage, and enforce various governance requirements. Creatio's governance app sits alongside of your different applications on the platform. Being able to run different types of governance, manage it across all of your environments in one place. What we see here is we are building out new governance and controls. Now, these controls could be everything by data governance, operational governance, user governance, or security controls. These may be things like password complexity, password policy. How often do I need to change? It's a great example. We live this every day in our lives. You not only can manage and control this as no-code creators build applications on the platform, you can enforce this policy. And if anything at any point in time ever comes out of compliance of one of your policies, the business process engine will capture that. It'll create an issue, allow you to track it cradle to grave, and what's more important is this uses the same business process methodology of any of the other business processes that you build on the platform. Now, what's nice about this is it means that dedicated groups that just do controls don't need application or don't need access to all the applications that are being built, but they need to make sure that all of your controls are in place and being used. The next topic, and we've breached it already. I don't know about you, I don't like that Terminator guy that was on the screen earlier, but the reality is generative AI and AI holistically is here to stay. About 5 months ago, Creatio announced Copilot. It is how we are bringing generative AI and traditional AI together into our AI command center. Being able to do application level generative scenarios and traditional AI to drive informed and drive more effective processes. Being able to bring the information that's needed to bear to solve problems. This is what Copilot's going to help us do. Now, there's a bunch of different areas that Copilot's going to play. It's going to help us bring all this information to bear through these 4 layers. But what's foundationally unique is in every aspect of the platform, Copilot can assist. Now, it sits on three pillars, we'll call them. The first being application level use cases. These are the ones in sales, in service, in marketing, where Copilot's going to help guide or assist the user. In the Copilot Designer, how to build, manage, and maintain these generative AI scenarios. And then the third one, we talked just a little bit about a minute ago, is AI-assisted no-code development tools. You can't talk about AI without talking about governance, security, those types of things. Another unique thing about Creatio's Copilot is we are taking a little bit different approach. Yes, we have an industry-leading LLM that sits behind this, but we are not going to force people to use that. Later this year, we're going to launch, and it's already been announced, the Bring Your Own LLM. If you want to work with Google, you want to work with AWS, that's fine. If you want to work with OpenAI, that's fine. If you want to work with Anthropic, that's fine. All of these LLMs expose their services via API, and we're going to help you connect to those. But what we're going to do is we're going to help you make sure that your data is secure. The data protection layer that is part of Copilot helps anonymize, obfuscate data, so that your customer data within Creatio is never known by those LLMs. But yet you still get the value and you still get the responses that are needed to help drive your business. We also have expanded the governance application that we just talked about to cover these Copilot scenarios, so that as you're building these Copilot scenarios in the application hub, we've embedded it into the same tool set that everybody's already used to using. You can track, manage all of the action list items. Matter of fact, you can even build using generative AI. You can ask it to build a new Copilot scenario all within the application hub. This is the democratization of generative AI. This is extremely unique. Creatio is the only one that's doing these types of things. Typically, other platforms, you're going to need data scientists. You're going to need prompting engineers and some of the other roles that are starting to emerge around generative AI. With Creatio Copilot, your everyday citizen developers and your professional developers can help build and manage these. Let's talk a little bit about CRM excellence. Many of you know Creatio for this and this alone, and that's fine. It's an amazing set of products that Creatio offers with sales, service, and marketing, but keep in mind it all sits on the no-code platform. This no-code platform, as well as our 3 pre-built tools, cover a wide variety of different use cases that customers run every single day. But we've taken generative AI and embedded it in so many areas. These are kind of a high-level list of some of those different scenarios: summarization, personalization, next best offer. These are then uniquely applied to each of these applications. Now I'm going to show you some demonstrations of this, but let's remember CRM holistically, right? It is the pieces that are required to manage the funnel, right? In the sales world, we call it top of the funnel for marketing. We call it mid-funnel and sales operations for the sales side. This is an example of a sales manager homepage, being able to collect the information from different systems, display it, helping the sales teams build out their processes, helping them attain their quotas, making recommendations on things to do, helping them gain visibility into their customers, whether that's B2B or B2C sales. You have the ability to look through that data in effective ways. For those of you who've worked with Creatio for a while, you'll know Alexander Wilson is our favorite customer. He's the CEO of Alpha Business. This is all fictional, by the way, not real. Alex is our favorite customer, and you can track all of your engagements, regardless of their sales engagements, service engagements, marketing engagements, all in one place. This is that holistic 360-degree view. You have the ability to chat, make a phone call, send emails, all within one place. Matter of fact, you can even schedule meetings using our CRM tools. Now, for those of you who have used CRMs before, this is nothing less than industry standard. I would argue that it is industry leading because it has the ability to use the no-code tools to do all of these things. This is an example of a sales forecast, setting up the sales teams for success. Maybe it's planning or executing events. Full transparency, here at Creatio, we use our own tool for everything we do. Matter of fact, whether it was our No Code Day Florida event or even this event that you all registered for, we use our own tool, Creatio, to manage all of this. This is an example of the No Code Miami Day, right? Building email communications. All of you saw those. Matter of fact, all of you got an email today with your barcode on it. Creatio was the one that generated that and sent that to you. We have the ability to track and manage all of these from an event standpoint, but it's not just events. You can do this in a number of ways. It could be in-person events, could be webinars, digital engagements. Matter of fact, it could even be something like social media. When we think about this, these are all types of ways that we help drive top of the funnel activities. Now, what's even more interesting is as we look at this, we have the ability to do all sorts of great things, including understanding how we're spending our money for marketing, being able to understand where we're spending it, what our return of investment is. This is extremely important if you're a consultant for your customers. If you're in the business, it's extremely important for you. Making sure that whatever money you spend comes back 2, 3, 4 times. This is the essence of tracking and managing cradle to grave, all of those types of engagements. And then the final area of CRM excellence is service. Making sure that customer service representatives have all of the information they need. Give them the ability to make phone calls. Track all of the pieces of information that they need to be able to provide the best service. To increase customer satisfaction. Making sure that they don't lose those customers because they have the right information at their fingertips. These are the holistic pieces that make Creatio's no-code CRM tool industry leading. But we're gonna go a step further. We're gonna see how generative AI now plays into this. And with Creatio Copilot, you can do all sorts of great things. Here's the first example. This is summarization in the sales process. This is an example of a sales dashboard, sales homepage. You can ask Copilot, what's the probability of making my quota this quarter? It's gonna say 86%. Matter of fact, it's even going to tell you, here are your top opportunities, and maybe here's some things that might push out. Matter of fact, you could follow up this prompt and you could ask it another prompt, which is, what are maybe opportunities that are in the next quarter that I could pull in? And it can give you an output that says, go look at these 3 because you've had a short buying cycle with that customer before. These are just some examples. But the other thing I could do is I could go from here and I could dig into any of these opportunities. This is an opportunity summary example. This is the ability to now understand holistically what's going on with an opportunity. What are the things I need to think about? What do I need to do? Well, I need to schedule a call with my champion. I need to be able to set an activity, have it hit my calendar, automatically send out that meeting invite. Maybe you're linked up with Zoom or Teams. It's automatically scheduling those based upon some availability in your calendar. You can also get next best action within those opportunities as well to say, oh, that's right. I remember getting an email from this client, but I forgot to schedule a meeting. Copilot already did that. Matter of fact, they said they wanted to set up a dry run and schedule reference calls. Copilot can set all those things up for you in case the rep forgot. Now let's talk about marketing for a second. I always talk about marketing in 3 ways. It's the who's, the what's, and the how's. The who's being the audience segmentation. So when it comes to segmentation, you can use natural language to take however many customer records you have and understand who you want to push the message out to. With Copilot, you can create unique segmentations to be able to then send content to. Now, you can do this with the no-code tools, but this allows you to be even faster. You don't necessarily have to know how to create dynamic folders. Copilot can do it for you. That's the who. The next is the what. Content generation. You can generate content using Copilot as well. Not only can you generate it, you can use Copilot to do translation. Being able to translate and give you dynamic content based upon a characteristic of location, language preference, maybe even communication channel preference. All of these are extremely important as we think about how to best engage with customers. So that's the who, that's the what, now the how. So if we think about the how, it is all about omni-channel campaigns. Being able to use natural language for those professional marketers that we were talking about earlier that maybe don't know how to build campaigns. Using Creatio Copilot to build campaigns and then design the flow and understand the audience. This is how Copilot can help drive marketing automation even further. So that's kind of the marketing side. Now let's think about the service side of the world. When we think about customer service, before I start playing the demo, I'll give you a story. Imagine a scenario where a customer service representative is getting an email inbound. Customers complaining that they have a problem. The most important thing to do when we get an email inbound and understand that there's a problem is understand who, what the problem is, what their sentiment is, and then how we're going to solve it. We can use AI, both traditional and generative, to stage things into that case. Maybe it's search similar cases. Understand how we've solved these problems before for other customers. So that by the time that customer service representative opens up that case, they have everything readily available. The other question is, who do we send this case to? Maybe there's specific information within that email, or we understand who the customer is that will help us route that. Intelligent case routing is one of the most important things to help drive first-time closure on customer service cases. If you think about it from a consumer standpoint, you've called your bank, your insurance company, your landlord. I have a problem. All of us, from a consumer standpoint, would love to have that problem solved as fast as possible and to our satisfaction. Making sure that that problem gets to the right place and the right person at the right time is one of the biggest steps that people can take to make sure that that happens. I'll be honest with you, I flew in from the United States yesterday. My flights were all screwed up. I had to go shopping, I didn't get any luggage shipped here. But when I sent a note to Polish Air, to LOT, somebody responded in about 5 minutes. They said, we understand that there's a problem. How can we help? It was intelligently routed to somebody to say, this person that's coming from another country has an issue. How can I help? This is what intelligent routing does. It was also very important to understand, I was tired. I'd been flying for 6 hours already before I even had a chance to get the international flight. Sentiment analysis is important too. Being able to give customer service representatives the ability to react and manage with empathy, right? Being able to understand how the customer feels. As a consumer, I know that I always want the person that I'm interacting with to understand the pain that I'm going through. This is what sentiment analysis does. It can take keywords. It can take maybe utterances. If it's coming in via phone call, it can take tonality into account to help better inform that customer service representative. And then finally, giving the right information at the right time, recommending knowledge-based articles, frequently asked questions, providing checklists to that customer service representative, all in the way of giving them the information that they need to better service that customer. These are all of the pieces that make up enterprise-grade CRM. All of these things I've showed you today are all done with no code. Not a single line of code went into any of this from an implementation standpoint. Now our teams, our R&D teams, I think they're some of the best in the world. They push the envelope every single day. We talk about all the different things that we're already rolling out, and the things to come. And I will tell you, there is never an idea that doesn't come up that either we haven't thought about or that we've seen it done a little bit different way, and then we challenge ourselves. How can we be better? How can we provide more tools to you as customers, as partners, to be able to meet these business needs? This is truly the power that no code brings. By adding AI to the mix with no code tools, this truly is a powerful duo that is unmatched. These tools are not only the tools of today, but will be the tools of tomorrow and into the future. Now, what portion of it is done manually using no-code tools versus how much is done using Copilot, or as Catherine would say, autopilot in the future? That's still to be determined. I think what we will see over the next 3 to 5 years is that this merger of tools and automation using AI will continue to grow. The boundaries between sales, service, customer engagement, people, machine, will become even more blurred. Why? Because that's where technology has taken us. As we continue to think about this through the rest of the day, we're going to have a number of conversations. We're going to have some panels. We're going to have some speeches today that's going to talk about some examples of how the no-code tools that are already available today have really helped drive transformation with organizations. You're going to hear from some of our partners a little bit later today. You're going to hear from some of our customers later today about how and why Creatio was chosen to drive their technology needs of the future. Why these tools are differentiators for them to move their business forward. That's the end of my time. I want to thank you for hearing me out today and understanding a little bit more about no code and the future of AI.